Did all the details of the Nintendo Switch 2 just get leaked? Let's have a look. Hello everyone and welcome to the Ram Fam podcast, which I'm officially gonna rebrand and start calling it the Ram Fam Show from this episode onwards, as I've come to realize this isn't really a podcast anymore. It's kind of just a show. I don't really know what it is, but we're calling it the Ram Fam Show from now on. On today's agenda, the Nintendo Switch 2 is indeed coming, and we definitely know it's coming, but as we get closer to the official announcement, more and more leaks have been happening. The reason why we know that the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming is because of Furukawa, the president of Nintendo, who tweeted saying that we will make an announcement about the successor of the Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of the Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024. But please be aware that there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during that presentation. What Furukawa is saying here is that during the Nintendo Direct that is going to be happening in June, by the time this video is out, it might have already happened. I don't think so, we'll see. But during that Nintendo Direct, we will get no news about the Nintendo Switch 2. It will still be focused on the Nintendo Switch 1. However, we can expect the announcement about the Nintendo Switch 2 to happen within this financial year. So it's definitely coming, it's on its way. But the big news is coming from China, from a user called Billy, who is quite renowned when it comes to his leaks about gaming news. And the first bit of news to come from that is the Joy-Con of the Nintendo Switch 2. In his leak, he says that the newer version of the Joy-Con is larger in size and the structure of the slide rail has been changed to a magnetic suction. Now, I'm a huge fan of this. I absolutely hate the way that the Joy-Cons slide in and out of the current Nintendo Switch. It's not that smooth, and especially if you put it the wrong way around, which, seeing as it's a console targeted at a younger audience, if you put that thing the wrong way around, it is extremely easy to get it jammed in there, and I feel like a lot of kids have probably broken their Joy-Cons or their Nintendo Switches for that reason. So definitely I think a magnetic suction is a much better solution. It also means that the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons will be charged the same way that a phone is wirelessly charged, using electromagnetic waves from the Nintendo Switch 2 system, sending the signal to the Joy-Cons. Billy also leaked that there is going to be an extra programmable button that will be added to the Joy-Con just around about here in this picture. And that's quite interesting that it's a programmable button. I wonder if it's going to be something that we can freely change and maybe use within some games, or I wonder if it will be something a bit like the touchpad of the PlayStation DualSense controller, where it becomes another input and developers can actually use that input for their game. Another really big leak that came from Billy is the screen size. So the original Nintendo Switch OLED model was using a 6.2 inch screen with a 7 inch border and boasting a OLED model at 720p when running in handheld mode and 1080p when running in docked mode. The new upgrade is going to be running a screen size of 8 inches and a handheld resolution of 1080p with, get this, a docked resolution going all the way up to 4K, and that's pretty big coming for a Nintendo Switch. The other real big change is the storage that will come with the Nintendo Switch. So the original Nintendo Switch, the very first one, not the OLED model, it came with 32GB of Nintendo Switch storage. Now usually a Nintendo Switch doesn't need too much storage space because most people buy the physical cartridges and really they just use their storage for cloud saves. However, with more and more people kind of trying to use the online store a bit more often, as well as online exclusive games, looking at things like the Virtual Console on the Nintendo Switch, there has been a bit more of a demand to have more storage space on the Nintendo Switch console. Well, the good news is that the Nintendo Switch 2 will have 256GB storage space. That is 8 times the amount of the original Nintendo Switch. However, I wouldn't get too excited. As I mentioned earlier, that the Nintendo Switch will have a 4K resolution when it comes to docked mode, so I think that the games that will be releasing on the Nintendo Switch 2 are probably going to be quite big, especially to make up for all those 4K textures and all the graphical upgrades. So while I do think it is nice to have 8 times the amount of the old Nintendo Switch, I still think we will be needing to buy additional SD cards. And if you are wondering just how good the Nintendo Switch 2 will be performing, Square Enix actually gave a pretty good indication of how the Switch 2 will be with their new business plan model for the next financial year. That's right, Square Enix has entirely changed their business plan, where they have shifted their focus on releasing global releases of their new games on all platforms. Square Enix kind of suffered a exclusivity deal with Sony, especially with the likes of Final Fantasy XVI, as well as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, they're planning to do all of these games no longer exclusive going forward, which means that they are expecting to release these big AAA games on the Nintendo Switch 2. So imagine getting the next Final Fantasy XVII running on 4K resolution on the docked version of the Nintendo Switch 2. That kind of gives us an indication of just how powerful this console could be. The Switch 2 is also rumored to use the new NVIDIA E239 chip. This is actually coming from multiple sources, not just from user Billy from China, but a lot of Nintendo leaks have also confirmed that this will be the new processing chip. And if you're not a total computer nerd and don't really know what that chip actually means, it has a similar processing power to that of the Xbox Series S or a PS4 Pro. It's a little interesting to me that they opted for something with the performance of a PS4 Pro and not that of maybe a PS5. It sounds like Switch 2 games are still going to have to be a slightly downgraded version of the PS5, which just means that the Switch 2 still may not be the best platform to play your big AAA games. While it is nice that you can certainly take it around and have it nice and portable, it still means that the game will have to run on maybe downgraded textures, lower frames, but it will definitely have to hold back its potential because it is having the processing power of roughly a PS4 Pro. It has been confirmed, well, in this leak anyway, that backwards compatibility will be a thing in the Nintendo Switch 2, both physically and digitally. And what I mean by that is that the Nintendo Switch 2 cartridges are going to have a completely different design to Nintendo Switch 1 cartridges. However, the reader inside the Nintendo Switch 2 will be able to take both Nintendo Switch 1 and Nintendo Switch 2 cartridges. So an example of this is the Nintendo 3DS. It could read DS games as well as 3DS games, but a normal Nintendo DS could not read 3DS games. So essentially, it is able to backtrack and use older cartridges as well as the new cartridge models that we will be seeing for the Switch 2, and I think that's a huge plus. I do wonder if games like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will be able to run quite well on the Switch 2. Maybe we'll actually see a huge performance change with games that struggle to run on the Switch 1. In fact, a hint that almost confirms this backwards compatibility is the next Pokemon title that has been announced, Pokemon Legends ZA. In their announcement, they did mention that Pokemon Legends ZA will be releasing on the Nintendo Switch 1. However, this may just be saying that it will also release for the Nintendo Switch 1 and the Nintendo Switch 2, meaning you can probably buy both cartridges, one that has the Switch 2 version and one that has the Switch 1 version. Again, none of this was confirmed, so we can't say for sure, we're all just taking guesses here. And of course, the final and most important question of all is, when will the Switch 2 come out? Well, the only thing that we know for sure is that Furukawa has confirmed that they will be making an announcement about the new Nintendo console within the next financial year. So we can expect an announcement before March 2025. However, as for the actual release date of the console, we are still in the dark and no one really knows. But I do hope it is a lot sooner rather than later, as definitely Nintendo is overdue for a brand new console release. So are you as excited as me about the new Nintendo console? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your opinions. Or if there's any information that I missed, also please feel free to let me know. I'd love to hear it. And just before I wrap up this episode of the Ram Fam Show, I just wanted to say thank you to every single member of the Ram Fam, whether you are on Twitch or whether you are on YouTube or whether you are on both. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey, as I am currently celebrating my 4-year Twitch anniversary. So thank you guys so much. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you guys for being the absolute best, and I look forward to catching you in the next anniversary where, oh my god, I can't believe it's gonna be 5 years. Jeez, I've been streaming for way too long. Alrighty, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a wonderful night, have a wonderful morning, have a wonderful afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Catch you in the next one. Bye bye.